as well as just give me a quick hello. But today's topic, we're talking about the how and why to create a brand manifesto. So, first of all, if you are with me, have you heard of a brand manifesto before, and have you created one for your brand? It is something that we are super passionate about at Now Marketing Group, working with our clients in crafting this, but there is a lot of confusion on what it actually is and kind of what purpose it has. And, reasonably so, because there's so many things out there that people say you need to create for your brand. So I'm going to give you my personal definition of it. However, it is open for interpretation how you want to describe it. But I like to say it's kind of the combination of creating your why, which you've maybe created a why for your business. If you've not heard of creating a why for your business, I highly encourage you checking out Simon Sinek's Start With Why. But most brands are more familiar with the mission statement, your tagline, and even a vision board that you can create for your company. Well, imagine what all those things have in common. Now, granted, they're all great for a business, but they focus on one thing, and that is the company as a whole. And if we're looking at growing our businesses and who we want to grow with and what we're all about, and you imagine taking all of that and emotionally kind of telling your story, and the caveat here, while focusing on your customer instead of just focusing on your customer, that is, by definition, the brand manifesto. So I like to describe the brand manifesto that it's creating that emotional connection to the brand, but it's far more meaningful than that as well. Like I like to say, it allows your brand to be felt long before any transaction takes place, right? So what does that mean? If you are crafting a brand manifesto focusing on like your emotional side of sharing your why, but adding your client into the story where they could imagine themselves doing business with you, and they could imagine themselves before even working with you, what it would be like to work with you and their overall experience, then you've nailed your brand manifesto. So let's read a few of them. And first, I want to see like if you could guess even what company the brand manifesto is with. So I'm going to read a couple brand manifestos so you can get an idea of the overall, like what it sounds like, what it looks like. And then we're going to work through creating a brand manifesto for you if you would like. So, and then we'll talk about how practical cases on how to use it and why you want to use it. But first, I want to read a couple brand manifestos that I really, really liked. And my guess is that you may even know some of these brands, and I would love to hear if you know who this brand is when I read it. Okay, so I'll start with an easy one first. Let me grab this one. I'm sure you guys know this one. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, or glorify them, or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward, and while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius, because the people who are crazy enough to change the world are the ones that do. So, can you guess what brand that is? Chances are you probably have heard this before. And what I love about the brand manifesto, it's there's nothing in their manifesto, and you can feel the energy from this company. You could understand who they're creating their service and product for, and even get a sense of what it would be like to work with them, right? So this brand manifesto is Apple's. So this is Apple's brand manifesto. And what I love that it emotions and embodies, like I said, their whole company culture and what they're about, and sets the tone for what they're going to be creating as far as content, like what it looks like, what it feels like, who's going to be working there, like just literally setting the stage. Okay, so that was an easy one. Now I want to share another one real quick and see if you can guess what company this is. All right, let me grab one. This is kind of an easy one as well. So somehow we've come to believe that greatness is only for the chosen few, for the superstars. The truth is, greatness is for all of us. This is not about lowering expectations. It's about raising them. For every last one of us, greatness is not in one special place, and it's not in one special person. Greatness is wherever someone is trying to find it. Any guesses to what that company is? That one is Nike. So again, you can feel it. You can you get a sense of what this company is about and what's driving them forward, right? I'm going to read one more here. Oh, you're going to say that, Tracy. Okay, I want to give you another chance. So real quick, I'll do another one real quick and see if you can guess this one. And thanks for joining in with me today, Tracy. So let's see if I can. I'll do this one. This one's a little bit tougher. When all is said and done, have you done or said enough? Have you just gone along for the ride, or have you steered destiny's hot rod? When you leave this world, did you make it any better than it was before you arrived? All you need is all you've got: your wits and the clothes on your back. Your empath is yours to earn. Your legacy is yours to make. Go forth. And if you see me staring at my computer this fall, it's because the font literally on this is like all swirly and not so easy to read in this photo. I'll have to take a screenshot and share it in the comments. But this one's a little tougher. So I'm not sure if you've heard this one before or any guesses to this one, but I'll do a little countdown. Dun, 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 dun. I can't sing, so I won't put you through that. But that is Levi's. So that is Levi's Brand Manifesto. All right, I'm going to read another one, and this will be the last one I read. So now you'll have like a really good idea of what they kind of sound like and feel like, right? So you're seeing this synergy of all of them have this emotion in it. It's adding the client, the customer, as if they're in the story, right? So like you can feel it. You can, and the customer is seeing themselves, if they're aligned with that brand, in with that brand, right? So that's the key. So let's read one last one. And I'll tell you at the end, of course, who this one is. But in the heart of every business lies a story, a vision for the future written long before any transaction takes place. Great businesses are focused on culture, led by their visionaries who truly get the power of relationships, backed by a foundation of passion, integrity, and hard work. At times, it simply takes a partner that aligns with their ideals, mirroring their willingness to do the work necessary to drive their vision into reality. Choosing to do what's right, not what's easy. We're defined by the relationships with the community, clients, and teams we serve. Together, we generate the ideas that get people talking and the results that keep our businesses growing. And then I'll end it with this part. We are fueled by relationships, driven by results, and a catalyst for creativity. So that one is actually, thank you. That one is actually Now Marketing Groups. So that is our brand manifesto. And something that we actually just refined a little bit, because next year will be our 10-year anniversary at Now Marketing Group. And when we had a team meeting, we asked ourselves, at the beginning, definitely this was at the core of it, but what does it look like moving forward? And so when we're asked by clients like, okay, my company is 20 years old, or I'm just getting started, or maybe I've been growing, and I'm in it for a while, but I've just been so busy in the doing that I've lost that little bit of passion and spunk for my business. So when is the right time to create something like this? And the answer is always now. Like really look at, again, why you started your business, what your brand stands for, and then what's in it for your customer. And that's literally the formula to break down to create your own brand manifesto. Because what this allows you to do, one, is align all the things that you have going on with this overarching, here's why we're doing it, who we're doing it for, and who we're trying to attract. You know, we talk a lot on here, magnet marketers, about being a magnet versus a bullhorn. And when you put messaging like this and at the core of what your company stands for, then when aligned with a great product or service and the team members that resemble what you believe and are in on it as well and can feel that sense of it, then you're going to be attracting that result of the client, exact client that you're looking to be in it approach to attracting the right people. So let's talk about how to manifesto first. So again, you first want to create your organization's why. So why are you doing this? And literally when I write this out with clients, I just have them answer these 3 questions in their own words, because by putting this on paper first and really stopping to think, then you can go back and refine it into this statement of words that are really going to have emotion in it versus I love the example when I've seen others talking about Brand Manifesto, and they share the example of Martin Luther King, and they said, you know, if he used the word I have a strategy, it definitely wouldn't be as powerful as I have a dream, right? Like, so these words that can really evoke emotion into what you're saying and an understanding of who this person is. So the very first question, and I'm going to post this in the comment, is to identify your organization's why. So why are you doing what you're doing? The second step is to write in second or third person is into the story that you're telling. Like, describe, you know, how what you do for them, but also how your brand will improve their everyday life and what that looks like. So going back to the examples of Apple and Levi, you know, and Now Marketing Group, all of them are talking about who they're creating their service for. Like, you know, Apple is like the round pegs and the square holes, you know, are I think I did that backwards, but and then Levi's like for the adventurer that's, you know, more worried about the memories that they're creating here and the legacy that they're living, you know, while they're in their clothes versus what just they're wearing. And, you know, as go back to the Now Marketing Group example, we're talking about the client that's hardworking and they operate on integrity and doing the right thing even when it's hard, but they simply need a partner that sees and aligns with their ideals, willing to help them do the work necessary to get it done, right? So when you describe this and write it out, and then it allows you to kind of come back to that. Oh, Tracy, you did get it. Thank you. Yay. Allows you to kind of come back to that then and look at what you wrote. And I encourage you to do this as a team if you've not done this before. It is a great way of not only getting your team's input, and more brains the better, right? But also, if this is something that you're creating, it can't just be something you're creating. So if it's something you're creating as an individual and like keeping it to yourself and being like, yeah, this is what we're doing, this is my brand manifesto, but it's not changing anything as far as, you know, when you're creating different copy that you're putting out, potentially your content or the mindset of who you really want to work with, the overarching like culture of what you stand for. Like, I'll use the example of Apple again. If they had this brand manifesto and Steve Jobs just like kept it in his office and was like, this is my manifesto, this is what I created, you know, for the business, but he, you know, let his team potentially like, you know, put up cheesy stock photo ads and, you know, pop up boxes and crazy stuff that wouldn't be aligned with what the brand manifesto says it's for. It's like this edgy, cool, it says something about you when you're buying it. If there was that disconnect there, then it's never going to change anything, right? That's just creating a document that's never going to make a shift. So the why of what the brand manifesto is and the what of what it is all about creating and understanding how it can impact your business, right? And then it goes into the how is it used. So one, this is a promise to your community. So when you write this and you're creating it with your team and you're putting it out there, like I recommend like refining it with your team. We did several back and forths with the team and seeing which one resonated, tweaked a couple words, right? But then putting it out there, right? Like saying, this is our commitment to you. And while most of your consumers and customers are probably not going to go read and want to get super jacked on your brand manifesto, it's less about reading the copy and more about feeling what that commitment has shifted and changed and aligned in your business that is going to attract them in. So what does that break down to when it comes to actual like execution of this? That means when you're thinking about or considering, making updates to your website, you think, here's who we're creating it for, here's what we want it to feel like, and is this aligned, with our brand of what people should be feeling about us? It's when you're thinking about introducing new programs or services or products, you're thinking about, does this align with our commitment of what we've said that we're executing as part of our brand manifesto? When you're hiring, would this person, are they able to do the task, but are they culture aligned with what we're saying our commitment is to our brand? Is the quality matching up? Like, you literally go back to this as a checkoff point of saying, are we aligned? Are we aligned? With each step and thing that you're creating, you're going back and saying, are we aligned with what our commitment is said to be that has been executed via our brand manifesto, right? So the other piece of that, once you're doing those checkpoints and aligning and making sure your copy is all, focused on it, and that what you're putting out is really this emotion. Like I said, it's more than just words. And honestly, your manifesto could be in your brand manifesto as a whole, since this is the emotional part of your business and what you stand for and creating this culture and the brand as a whole. It doesn't just have to be words. It could be the images that you're sharing. It could be the video that you're sharing. It does not just have to be copy. That's just one piece of it. So consider that as you're creating your designs and your imagery. What other ways can we evoke the same emotion in the images that we're sharing and the videos that we're producing that align, again, with this emotional, our claim and our commitment to our community? So using that Apple example, just because it's easy and well known and easy to understand, look at their commercials, right? And every commercial they put out, their website, the way it looks, the packaging, right, on everything they're putting out. And it all goes back. If you were to look at each element independently, you would be able to take each element independently, check it against what they say their commitment is and their brand manifesto, and be like, yeah, that aligns, that aligns, that aligns. All of it aligns. And that's why it's shifting a mindset from just buying to belonging at that point. And that's the shift, right? So the whole goal of it is to get into, like I said at the very beginning, of creating this emotional stake into your business that allows your brand to be felt before any transaction takes place, which means we're going to be shifting from the just transactional and buying a product or service to a belonging. So I didn't just buy something. I bought something that now says something about me individually that I'm feeling. And why this is so important is because, like we've talked about forever, if you've ever heard me talk anywhere, is that customer experience is key, one. So it definitely has to have a good product. Actually shared a post on the brand manifesto and why I think it's important on my Instagram. And I had a gentleman comment like right away, and he was like, no, that's all great and good, but it really boils down to your product. Your product is what people buy into, and it's your service. And if you have a crappy product, it's not going to matter what your brand manifesto says. And while I 100,000% agree that you do have to have a great product and service, or people aren't going to keep coming back, I do agree with him there. However, the key is what's going to keep them coming back, right? Besides just that great product. If somebody had a great product and another company had a great product, they're exactly the same, besides price, what's going to keep me coming back? And what the piece of the brand manifesto is saying is that this is my commitment to have a great product, of course, but do it for these reasons. So it's an attitude, it's not an either or. And when we can look at it, this holistic approach of saying, okay, we're committed to having this great experience with the right people and with the right vision and truly aligned with who we are, every transaction is really just an exchange of energy anyway. So you're going to be, working with the equal exchange of people that want to belong with you. And in the future, as I was saying, if you've ever heard me talk about this anywhere, word of mouth is where it's at. And if you are going to be worthy of somebody stepping up and sharing and talking about your brand, reviewing your brand, helping you grow and sustain as both staying with you as a customer, but also referring you on to continue to grow your business, your product, your service, they have to be in it for more than just the product. It's what it says about them. And by doing this, that is going to connect those emotional ties. Hey, I want to say hey to Amy. Good to see you here. Yes, I love you. You are my spirit animal as well. I seen you commented that the other day. I love that you get relationship marketing, get jazzed about it as well. And hey, Tim, good to see you on here as well. Hope you guys are having a good start to your week. So I'm curious from any of you that are watching with me now, have you created a brand manifesto? If so, I would love to read it. If not, I want to see what you come up with after listening to this for your brand manifesto and what that does for your business. So if you've already created that why, you've already maybe created that mission statement or tagline, it's then taking all those elements, adding your customer as the hero in there and part of the story, and adding that emotional shift to it. So the very last tip on this is really, as I said, it doesn't have to be as wordy or for everyone else. Like you have that, right? Like you have your brand manifesto that, and I keep I'm pretending to put it back here on the shelf or something. You have your brand manifesto and you're living it, you're breathing it in your culture and company, and something you want to make sure everybody is in on and bought into. But for your customer, granted, you want to include this into your website and everything that you're doing, but it's not to say that every customer is going to want to read that big copy. So it could just be, like I said, the images that you're sharing, the video that you're sharing, but also simple little taglines, right? So like Nike, we read their brand manifesto in when we were playing the game at the beginning. Just do it is one of theirs. Or they do little simple sentence, on an image that speaks volumes, and it's all aligned with their overarching brand vision and manifesto, even who they've worked with, controversial or not. And I know Nike's been under a lot of controversy last year with some of the campaigns that they put out, but it was genius because it doubled down on who the people that truly belonged in their brand were, the people that were part of even more bought into it, right? They were like, yes, this is the company that is mine. This is my tribe of people, and this is what I stand for. Whereas if they were to do something completely opposite the brand or be vanilla when they're saying that this is what we stand for, people are just not really going to buy into that hype. So, and hey, Ross, good to see you on here. Yay, always love seeing your face on here. And Tim says, no, I need to focus on my brand everything. That's okay. You know what? This is a good time to do it, Tim. So now's the time. Honestly, I don't know if you realize this or not, but we are laying the foundation this year for amazing things to come for the next, 10 plus years. So doing the work now, even if you just block out some time each week for yourself and start chipping away at this, you'll find that it all starts coming together beautifully. So I would love to see what you come up with, Tim, because I know you have a vision for what you're doing with the show that you are doing and who you like working with. So I would love to see what you come up with. So in closing with the brand manifesto, you still want to focus on, again, keeping it simple. Emotion doesn't have to be just words. It can be images. And, make it about the real people that you are serving. Make it a story. Make your client, customer into that story. And using this, not just like I said, as a wall poster of something that you have hanging up to look great and feel great, that we've done with, mission statements in years past in businesses, but making this truly the heart and the soul of the culture in the company, because this is what people are going to feel before a transaction takes place. So I'm going to put in the link in comments here. I already put in the how to create a brand manifesto, but I'm going to put some of those examples that I was sharing, so you can go back and look at some other companies, or you can simply Google, great brand manifestos. I'm sure you'll find several things out there to look at, as well as I'll put Now Marketing groups in there for those of you that know us and have worked with us. And hopefully, if you're like Tracy and knew us and loved us when I read it, she knew it was us. So we hope we're living up to that brand manifesto. We try harder every day, of course, but want to hear from you. If you have one, let me know. Even come back, if maybe you craft this later for your brand, come back and share it with me. This is like seriously my favorite thing to do, is working with companies, creating like their vision and their personas and their strategy on how to create this emotional connection to their audience to build relationships at the end of the day. I should count how many times I say relationships in a day. I'm sure like if that was a drinking game, I'd be in trouble. Tracy says, love the idea of chipping away instead of doing everything in one string. Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to get overwhelmed. Just literally break it up, and you'll find that you're growing. It's all about momentum and consistency. And you find when you get one thing done, it becomes easier to get that next piece done, easier to get that next piece done. And before you know it, you're going to be one big, amazing, energy force out there that has all those elements created, and now you're just attracting your right audience and growing into the brand you want to be. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in with me this week. Solo One Magnet Marketers Training Tuesday Live. If you have any questions whatsoever, please post it in the comments below. I will be back here next week. Hopefully my co-host will be back with me as well, and he's getting well, with a guest next week. So Rebecca Radis, will be having her on next week's show. So see you guys all again next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your week. Thanks so much.